Hello, Dana Marie here. This is the first time I am ever making a recording of myself, and this is the third time I'm starting, so we'll see how it goes. I am making a recording of myself today because I am new again to a journey that I'm pretty familiar with, and that is a journey to personal health and fitness and commitment to myself and my future and my family. And I've battled my weight and the health issues associated with excess weight for most of my life. Um, I first learned that I was overweight when I was 15 years old, which then it wasn't a lot overweight, but it was enough to trigger my anxiety over my body and to start this really bad habit that I have of pretending not to care, pretending that the physical doesn't matter, pretending that it's all about how smart I am, how kind I am, how good I am, that what's happening in my body doesn't matter. And as much as I've known that that wasn't true, and as much as I've known that my health was really important and that being here for my family and my husband, my daughter, was something that I wanted long term, I always backburnered taking care of myself and taking care of my health. And I'm 42 years old, going to be 43 in a couple of months. And I am long overdue for a real wake-up call. As I said, I've been on and off programs for most of my life. I've never really given them the kind of commitment and consistency that they need. And that's on me. That's my fault. I can't pin that on anybody else. I can't talk about my psychology. That's literally my decision. And so this time I'm owning it completely and totally. And I'm owning it to the point that I am doing something that I absolutely loathe and coming on a camera and talking about my thoughts and my feelings through this process. And my hope is that by putting myself out here, first of all, I'll be able to see the progress in myself as I go through this process. And second of all, if there's anybody out there who is having similar struggles with their journey toward a healthier self, and I know that there are a lot of us right now, because COVID has, even those of us who have been graced with relative health in this time are struggling with the lack of mobility, the lack of motility, the lack of options to just get out and be in the world and be active, right? And a lot of us are also struggling with way too much ease and proximity to our own kitchens. So I know there's a lot of us, and I'm just thinking that if I can help anybody else figure their way out, it might be an inspiration to me and help me continue down this path. So by no means an expert, just been around the block a few times, and I'm hoping that this time I can really make some real progress and maybe help somebody else out along the way. So that's the plan, just for me to come on here and make a video once a week, and maybe hopefully over time you'll start to see, a little bit less of me in this frame, maybe like a little bit less of this. Maybe make these just a little smaller as time goes by. And who knows, maybe at some point I'll start actually doing my hair and my makeup again. But for right now, this is just about being a person and talking to other people. So, since I don't think most people actually know my numbers, I'm going to go ahead and share them. And I'm doing this partly because I think my numbers are pretty high, and I am often told that I don't look as big as I actually am, which is one of those like backhand compliments that you kind of wish people didn't give you, but you also like recognize the value in it and that people are trying to be kind. So, it's just one of those things. But I like when I'm talking to people about this topic, I like to be completely open and honest about it. So I am currently not at my highest weight ever. My highest weight ever was where I was when I graduated from college, which was 284 pounds. That's the highest I ever was. And very shortly after I graduated from college, I did drop quite a bit of weight using Weight Watchers, which is the program I'm back on again. I never reached my goal weight. I have been on Weight Watchers several times. And as I said, I really do know that it's not the program, it's me. It's me deciding, I know how to do this now. I don't have to track anymore. It's me making conscious and silly decisions to step away and stop being, really diligent about working the program that generally makes me fail. Not fail, but makes me lose progress or regress, as it were. So I'm not at my highest weight, but I am still very high. And now, it's different to be really, really overweight when you're in your low 20s, because your body is still pretty young. And although you've abused it, you still have, good joints, and you're still pretty limber, and you're still like, you don't get injured as easily when you work out and things like that. So it's very, very different experience. And I actually feel sicker now at 206. Well, we'll get to that in a second. But I actually feel sicker now, even though I'm lighter than I was then, just because my mobility has been so impaired by the weight that I've been carrying around now for almost 43 years. So my lowest weight in my adulthood has been 172, and I got there with Weight Watchers. And my goal weight is 145, which might be a little bit aggressive. My doctor thinks it might be a little bit aggressive, but we're going to see as I get closer to 150 if something higher is more appropriate for me. But for now, she says, that's a good target to have. I really strongly believe in hitting little goals along the way. So I started the program again in earnest a week ago. And in that week, I worked out on my workout schedule. I did 3 low impact aerobic videos. I have tried to increase my walking. It's still really low. Again, working from home and being home all the time is not helping my steps, but I'm doing my best to get up and walk around as much as I can, spend time with my kid, play with my kid, be active, and I logged every single thing I ate, which sucked and was so annoying. But I measured everything, I weighed everything, and I logged everything. And all of that effort worked out to a 4-pound loss in 1 week. So I'm really thrilled with that. I'm really, really happy with that. That is awesome. So my starting weight last Monday was 262.4. And my weight this morning when I weighed in was 258.6. So it's 3.8 pounds. So just about 4 pounds. Super excited about it. I'm over the moon. I'm so happy. Now, what I need to do is keep in mind what that means for me, what I can expect. So the first thing, and if you've never done a program before, if you're new to this whole world, or if you just didn't realize this, I think it's really, really important for people to understand that they should not expect their first week's loss to be replicated on a frequent basis. It's very unusual. In my experience with these kinds of programs, with many people in my life going through these programs, your first week's loss has a lot to do with an increased consumption of water and a decreased consumption of sodium. And those two things mean your body gets flushed out, which means you're carrying a lot less of what they call water weight. And oftentimes it's about half of what you lost in your first week can actually be attributed to something that simple. So it's really important to keep in mind so that you don't get frustrated as the weeks proceed with the fact that you're likely going to lose about 50% on average what you lost your first week on every week thereafter. So week 1, 4 pounds, week 2 through infinity, 2. And there will also be plateaus. There will also be, delays. And honestly, especially if you're female, because hormones and stress really play a huge part. Like, this is not just about thermodynamics, right? If it were, everybody who pays attention to what they eat is losing weight. And we know that that's not the case. We know that people have to be on medication to help them. We know that there are thyroid conditions. We know that there are so many other factors that impact whether or not your body is ready to just give up that fat and release it and let you burn it for energy and for calories. So it's not a simple one-to-one, I didn't eat, so I should be losing, or I worked out, so I should be losing. It's not that simple. And it's important to realize that because, as I said, if you don't realize that, the frustration level can get really up there when you have like 4 weeks in a row where you're not losing anything, or where you were really good all week and then for some weird reason you've gained weight. And maybe it's not much. I feel like most of the time it's only like half a pound, but it can throw you. You're used to losing 2 pounds a week and suddenly you gained a half a pound. It feels like you gained 20. It feels like such a defeat. It feels so awful. And so it's important to realize that it's not so awful, and it's not a defeat, and it's probably something that you can't control. And what you have to do is just stay on top of the things that you can control, and your body will eventually work its stuff out and even itself out. But sometimes it just takes a really long time. So anyway, I did some math and I figured out that based on the amount that I have to lose, which is 113.6 pounds, based on that amount, if I lose 1.8 pounds a week, right, which is a little bit less than half of what I lost this week. If I lose an average of 1.8 pounds every week, it's going to take me 63 weeks to lose the weight. Why am I doing that math? 2 reasons. First, to remind myself that this is a long journey. This is not something that I'm going to be able to accomplish in just a few months. It's entirely possible that in a few months, nobody's even going to be able to tell that I've lost any weight. Especially when you think about the fact that, let's see, today is August 16th, I think? 17th. Today is August 17th. In 3 months, it's going to be November 17th. Everybody is going to be wearing sweaters. Nobody's really going to be able to see each other's body at all anyway. Plus, it's entirely possible that a lot of us, sorry to say this, but that a lot of us still won't be going out much. So this is not something where I can expect to get real results and feedback from people, positive feedback from people on a consistent basis. And I have to mentally prepare myself for the fact that I have to be in this for the long haul. 63 weeks, that is a year and 2.5 months. That's a long time. That means I won't be at my goal weight next summer, when hopefully the beaches and the pools are open and I have to put on a bathing suit again in front of people. I'm not going to be there yet. I need to prepare myself now for that. Not because it's a defeat, but because I have to be ready for the long, long road ahead. Second thing about this is understanding that it's a long road makes you realize how important it is to have short-term goals. So I do not remember the statistic. I probably should have looked it up before I started filming today, but there are a bunch of studies that suggest that losing 10% of your body weight dramatically increases your healthcare outcomes, dramatically reduces comorbidities, dramatically improves your health, your immunities, all of those kinds of things. 10% of my body weight at my start, so 262 point, I keep conversing these numbers, but 262.4, yes, would have been 26.26 pounds, so 26 pounds. That number feels a lot more doable. I've lost 4 already. I have 22 left to go. We're talking about 11 weeks, and I can be celebrating a great win for myself, my health, my body, my family. 11 weeks. Early November. I could hit my 10% goal before my next birthday. That's cool. That brings a smile to my face. And that's kind of what I'm focused on right now. So anyway, this has gone on for, oh my God, almost 20 minutes. Very, very sorry about that. I will try to be a lot more succinct about these in the future. But I just wanted to put myself out here, as I said, hopefully help to build a community for women over 40 with more than 100 pounds to lose, who are struggling through anxiety and depression and COVID, and just, trying to make the best decisions for themselves and for their families and the people around them. I guess the only thing that I would say in closing is that I think now more than ever is a really important time to be kind to people. It is such a tense time. It is such a frustrating time. I know I personally have a low-key fear every time I go to the supermarket, because even though I'm wearing a mask and I know everybody else is wearing a mask and we're trying to keep 6 feet apart from one another, never seems to work that way. I realize that, that is a risk that I'm taking, and it's difficult to live in a world where agoraphobia has become the norm. Especially for somebody who always liked being out of the house. I was never really a homebody. So this is a rough time. That's not a surprise for anybody, anywhere. What you don't realize is how often one seemingly innocent offhand comment that you might have made led somebody to want to grab a chocolate bar or to do something equally, destructive to themselves, an extra glass of wine, whatever. So I just kind of want to implore everybody to let's take a lot of deep breaths and go through those extra miles right now to just show kindness to other people, not indifference, not ignorance, just actually be kind to one another. I think it'll go a long way, and I think it'll help a lot of our mental health, which in turn helps our physical health. So that's all for today. I ramble a bit, and I hope you all stay safe and keep on your journey to getting well.